Hey there, it's me, Mrs. Cravat, back with part 2 of A Puritan Commonwealth. Today we're going to review what we learned in the first part, and then we're going to move on to learning more about the Puritans. So first we'll review the Puritans came from England. They left England in 1630 because they wanted to purify or make their church even stricter than it was. They first landed in Salem, Massachusetts in 1630. Their governor was the famous John Winthrop. As they lived in Massachusetts, they built many towns and schools. They eventually settled in Boston, which they called a city upon a hill. The Puritans also had slaves to help them do all this work. Education was extremely important to the Puritans. They wanted everyone to be able to read and understand the Bible. To learn how to read, students used horn books. Those were wooden paddles with letters on them. So here you can see your lowercase alphabet, uppercase. They learned phonics, just like you do today, and prayer books. Horn books also had prayers on them. The first public school in Boston was the Latin Grammar School. It was originally located on School Street in Boston. If you go to School Street in Boston, there's a big plaque on the sidewalk which marks the spot of the first public school. It's no longer on School Street, but that school is still in existence. It's called the Boston Latin School. The first college in the New World was Harvard College in Cambridge, Massachusetts. That's also still there in its original location. One thing that's very important to realize is the Puritans were making a lot of progress. And one sign of this is the Saugus Iron Works, which you can still visit today. It was opened by Governor John Winthrop's son. And what's really important about this is the Puritans were getting very smart and sophisticated. They started using water power from the Saugus River to move this water wheel. And that made it much easier to make tools and nails and pots and kettles, which was a huge help to people who were building and cooking. One thing the Puritans were starting to realize is they wanted to be independent. They did not want to be bossed around anymore by the King of England. They wanted to be free. This is the Massachusetts State House. It's upon a hill in Boston. It's still there. But the full name of Massachusetts is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. A commonwealth is a territory that governs itself. It's independent. The people make the rules for the common good or wealth of all the people. One thing that took place during Puritan times are the Salem Witch Trials. What happened is people started acting strangely. They could have had epilepsy or been sick. No one really knows, but nobody could explain why they acted so strangely. So people started to say that they were witches. Innocent people were killed, and it's a very sad time because eventually they realized there was never any proof that these people were witches. So let's just do one big review here. The Puritans, who came in 1630, continued to live in Massachusetts. The King of England was still in charge of everything that happened. The colonists continued to build homes, schools, towns, but they started to realize they did not want to be controlled by the King of England, and they started to think of ways to become free from being under his control. Also, remember the Puritans still had slaves, which were very helpful with all the building and progress they were making. Thanks for visiting the Puritan Commonwealth Part 2.